And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a fine race out here in, where is this now? Mandalika International Circuit. It's gonna be a lovely day of racing here on SANTAI, Malaysia. Welcome everybody to the stream here. My name is Victor Cax. I'm gonna be that little voice in your head for the next half an hour, because Kacha unfortunately cannot make it here today. So let's go ahead and have a look and see how this race is going to start off here. We've got Steve in the front row. Right next to him is going to be Jensen. They are going to be coming off the line immediately, and you can see Tahir trying to get a slipstream off of Matt Murdoch's side. You can see that Steve has just been overtaken by that BMW as well. Tahir is also looking, trying to eke his way to the inside, 3 wide here as Jensen has to hold back, but Speed Demon Steve got blocked and he got knocked by Jensen. They both fall back from this battle now. Let's see what Jensen is up to as well. Steve is constantly battling him from behind, and looks like they might be losing a few places as well. Nevertheless, it seems like Critical has already overtaken Drifter Injured. Now Drifter Injured is trying to fight back here, going through the inside. He's trying to eke away his space. He's side by side as they enter the fastest part of Sector 2. Drifter Injured now up in 4th place, and Haji Kakap looks like he wants to get in on this battle as well, as he is closing the gap now to Critical. Might be able to catch him in this 3rd sector. So now as they enter the final sector here, it's going to be a little bit of a fast one, although they will still have to lift off a little bit in 3rd gear in order to make it through this technical section here. But it's going to be that final corner that Tahir as well as Steve will be looking out for. Steve now, he's already 0.2 seconds close to Tahir. He's looking to try to keep as close as possible to him to keep this race alive, at least for his sake, because he's definitely going to be aiming for that win. In the meantime, Haji Kakap in the back there is also battling with Critical. Looks like Critical's troubles is not quite over yet as Steve continues to give chase to M. Tahir. Haji Kakap and Critical still battling, and looks like exchanging positions, but Haji Kakap has fallen back now. Matt Murdoch as well as the top 3 and now just got across the line. Steve is now getting a slipstream off of M. Tahir's car. Tahir now moves in to try to defend, but no! Steve is trying to eke his way inside, but Tahir breaks much later and stays in front in P2. Now, Tahir can breathe a little bit easier, but unfortunately, he's still gonna have to worry about Steve once we get to that final sector, unless he makes a mistake somewhere in this middle sector. But at least for now, Steve, he's certainly trying his level best here to keep up with Tahir's pace, and in fact is following so closely behind him that it's constantly reminding him who exactly is chasing him for that 2nd place. In fact, he's closing in on him, actually, through this fast section here. Oh, Tahir a little bit wide. Steve is going to try to go around the outside here. He will have the inside coming on around next the corner after this. Tahir, though, moves very defensively on the inside this corner around, but I don't think it's going to be able to block him that much. Critical in the meantime now under attack from Jensen, as Jensen almost finds a way on the inside there, but unfortunately loses out on the exit. But Jensen still tries again on the next corner. This time he will be side by side as Critical, losing so much speed, so much time in the battles that he did earlier on, loses another place here to Jensen. 5th place for Jensen Chu. Now, back onto the battle here with Steve. He is already close to Tahir. He's already getting onto the final corner now. Critical now going for the counter attack onto Drifter Injured here, but Drifter Injured takes it inside there and tries to get the exit. Steve now on the main straight here. Tahir still in front of him. Matt Murdoch is already pulling away quite far by 1.7 seconds. Steve goes for the dive on the inside of turn 1, but then Tahir fights back immediately. A touch right on the side. Wheel-to-wheel action here in the 1st sector as they now move on to the 2nd section. 2nd gear now, and oh, a bit of a slide there. I think Jensen has lost it as Critical moves up into 5th place. Steve, in the meantime, not able to get past Tahir quite yet. They were going to have to keep this battle going in the 2nd sector. Steve, half a second behind Tahir. Jensen now down back to 6th place as Critical regains his place now. Tries to build up a bit of a gap, but still 1 second behind is Jensen Chu. And it's already closing it by half a second by the time they get to the 3rd sector. Steve now as well, 0.3 seconds behind Tahir. These are the 2 battles that are ongoing on the track here. Critical in front of Jensen, Tahir in front of Steve. Jensen had already a taste of what it was like in 5th place. Steve was in pole position, mind you, but unfortunately has dropped back quite a bit since the start there. Matt Murdock is certainly having a lot of breathing room now, being 2 seconds ahead. Critical again. Jensen is trying to cut through him, but I think they are about side by side now. Jensen is still not able to gain anything out of this battle here. He has to fall back now by 1 second. And closes it down to about half now as he enter the final corner. That's a very good exit there coming from Jensen. He's going on a chase now. He will try to cut him around what looks like the inside of turn 1 and might just be able to do it even before the breaking point. Critical now. Very critical moment for him as he breaks at the 100-meter mark. But Jensen slips in front. Takes away 5th position from him. Nicely done there from Jensen. A recovery drive for sure, given that he was initially in that 5th place before Critical was able to take him over. But back onto the action in the front here. Steve catching up to Tahir already. Before entering this 3rd section here, he's certainly thinking about the setup now for the final corner overtake. But how exactly will he go about it? The next few corners here are still relatively high speed, so unless Tahir makes a mistake here from the pressure that's coming from Speed Demon's side, I doubt there's going to be much that he could do. Now, drifted injured Jut, 5 seconds behind. Steve, 0.1 seconds behind him. He's going to be getting through towards the final corner. If you can have a look on Steve right now, Steve has already overtaken Tahir. He's attempting to stay just in front of him, and yes, he will be able to take the inside line. Perfectly done there by Steve, as Tahir has to go wide and actually goes into the pit due to a penalty. Oh boy, I did not see that there from Tahir, so very unfortunate for Tahir. Up until that point, he was keeping up the pace quite well actually with Steve, but now it's all gone to waste here as he is dropped down to 4th place, may even lose 5th now as Jensen overtakes him on the main straight, and Steve just cruising away, continuing on his chase here to try to catch up to Matt Murdock. So now, how do we stand here? Matt Murdock in 1st place, 3 seconds gap between him and Speed Demon Steve. 5 seconds gap between Steve as well as Drifter injured. Jensen is now 3 seconds behind Drifter and Critical. Right now, still locking that battle with Tahir, who just came out of the pits and is looking to try to regain some positions here. And unfortunately, Critical just happens to be the one in its way, and Tahir takes over the position from him and starts pulling away. Nicely done there, Tahir. So Matt Murdock continues to lead. Is he going to be able to keep the gap between himself and Steve, though? That's the big question on my mind here. But certainly the gap between Jensen and Drifter Injured Jut is slowly but surely starting to close now. About 1 second, less than 1 second now from Jensen as they enter the final sector. Oh wait, no, they're not in the final sector. They are in literally the final corner now. So Jensen looking to try to find a way on the inside. Still cannot quite get close enough to him that time, though. But certainly we'll have an opportunity the next lap. 6 more laps, in fact, to go here. So we're already at the halfway mark of this race. Matt Murdock's gap now still around the 2 second mark. I think it was almost at 3 seconds during that battle between Steve and Tahir. So unfortunately, it seems like the pace is starting to catch up now for Steve. So let's see whether or not he'll be able to make this a final lap battle. As in the meantime, battles between Drifter and Jut and Jensen continues onwards and outwards here in this 1st sector. Slow but steady exit there. Jensen now still keeping right behind where Drifter Injure is. Trying to see exactly what he could do to try to make it through. Steve has his drive-through penalty for cutting there. This is unfortunate now, so that would certainly put him in the close position there to fight with Tahir later on, but that's just the worst kind of news to get, especially when he's already so close to catching Matt Murdock. He's already within 1 second here. The mistakes, they certainly come through here on the track like Mandalika. So Jensen continuing to chase Drifter Injured. Steve continuing to chase Matt Murdock. 0.5 seconds, but he will still have to take the penalty. Question is he going to be taking it this round, or will he try at least to go for the overtake of Matt Murdock first? Because remember, you still have 2 laps. He takes the inside. He wants to bring this fight to Matt Murdock no matter what. So Steve still behind Matt Murdock. They're now on the main straight, pulling hard, trying to find the slipstream here. Steve so close. He can almost touch it there, but then Matt Murdock is just weaving around, trying to break the toe, but to no avail. Steve is still just behind, and Matt Murdock gets moved aside. Oh, lordy, lordy, lord. Matt Murdock loses control on the first turn, and now Drifter Injured is in danger of taking his position as well. Speed Demon Steve still has to serve that penalty though, so he most likely will not stay in the lead for long. But now Matt Murdock may not even be the leader by the time he gets into the pits, because Drifter Injured is now sensing an opportunity. He smells blood in the water now, and he's going after his prey. This is, again, it's not a battle for P2 here, it's effectively a battle for P1. So Matt Murdock is going to have to do a lot of defensive driving in this final section here. Hopefully he won't catch any penalties whatsoever, but then again, this race is still going on. There's still 5 more laps, so that's 5 opportunities, literally, for you to catch a penalty by mistake. But for now, Matt Murdock seems to have settled down his pace. That little spin has not affected his pace whatsoever, actually, given that he's able to pull ahead of Drifter Injured now by 2 seconds. So it looks like he can breathe a little bit easier now. Steve now has entered the pits, is going to be serving his penalty, as Haji Kakap is just in front of him, actually. So Matt Murdock will be coming through and will overtake Steve for the lead here. Drifter Injured and Jensen probably will also be able to inherit 2nd and 3rd place as well. Tahir has just rounded around the final corner now, but Steve is already close to the exit. In fact, Haji Kakap has already come out in front of Matt Murdock. So that's going to be an interesting situation here, because I think Haji Kakap is literally the back marker right now, and Murdock needs to lap him quickly so that he can pull away from Drifter Injured. So will he respect the blue flag? Yes, he will. He moves aside, lets Matt Murdock through. Will he do the same as well for Drifter Injured? Yes, he moves aside and allows both him and Jensen through as well. Steve is following very closely behind, and Hachi actually brakes very slowly there to allow all the top 4 guys to get through. And Tahir unfortunately was not able to overtake Steve on the pit straight there, so he's also going to have Haji Kakap in front of him in this very fast section here. So this is going to be a bit tricky, but Haji slows down anyway, and Tahir is true. So Steve now going around the outside of Jensen. Jensen actually not even contesting this at all. He realizes, you know, who exactly it was chasing behind him, so he figures, what the heck, my race is not against Steve here, it's against Drifter Injured. So, well, he lets him through, but I think he might have let him through a little bit too far ahead now, because if anything, I would love to be able to take a bit of toll from Jensen in order to catch up to Drifter Injured, but nevertheless, well, he's going to have to do it the hard way, I suppose. So Matt Murdock round the last turn now. He is going to be starting the 7th lap, no, sorry, the 9th lap here. Wait, is it 9 laps? No, it's 10 laps. 10 laps now in this race here. A little bit longer to go, but we're almost at the end now, boys. We are in the end game. So that's 9 laps, sorry, that's 9 laps still remaining in this race here. Matt Murdock still has to hold on to this lead for another 3, and Steven has another 3 laps, conversely, to try to find and catch Drifter Injured. He's 1 second behind Drifter now, and I think he might be on the verge of making the overtake here. Speed Demon Steve had to serve a drive-through penalty, otherwise he would have been literally right in front there with Matt Murdock challenging him for the lead. But yet, you know, with the race almost coming to close and Steve and Murdock literally not being that far behind, or rather far apart from each other, I think there's still potential here for Steve to catch up to Matt and give us a final lap battle. But that aside, the first obstacle in his way is still going to be Drifter Injured though, and being in that Porsche, it's certainly going to be quite a tough car to beat here. Given that even Steve himself admits that the Porsche GT3 is a lot faster, especially on Mandalika. So given that he is driving the Audi this time out, is he going to be able to find the advantage? He will find a gap anyway. Drifter engine goes wide. Tries to fight back in the next turn there, and they make contact! Not again here, but unfortunately for Steve, he is still able to roll on. So, second place for Steve, Jensen, Drifter Engine, and Tahir. No, Tahir is going to be going past the pit entry. Drifter Engine and Jensen both have caught penalties, so now they will have to serve it. So that will allow Tahir to cruise his way through to a third place. So Steven, he is now 5.3 seconds behind Matt Murdock. 2 more laps to make up the difference. Is he going to have the pace to do so? Because as of right now, Matt Murdock is still lapping in the 134. Speed Demon Steve had to lap a 134 as well in order to make that to keep up with Drifter Injured. So in order for him to be able to catch up to Matt Murdock, he needs to pull an average of 2.5 seconds per lap here. That's going to be quite a tall ask, I've got to admit. Nevertheless, there's still potential for mistakes to appear, especially this late stage where tires are completely heated up, and certainly will be difficult to manage your race towards the end. So, one's hoping that, Steve still has enough gas left in the tank in order to make it through. Flix is stopping on the side of the road. Is he having a lot of trouble right now with his car, or something is wrong on his end? I am not too sure. We'll keep you guys updated soon. But nevertheless, Steve continues to chase. He's dropped it down within 5 seconds now. Can he make up the 2-second difference? That's the big question here. No mistakes whatsoever, Steve. That's going to be the key here. Blake's now forced to serve his drive 2 penalty. I think he must have got too many cut warnings, so it's going to be a pit lane entry for him. Steve continuing to give chase. I don't think his last lap was that fast. I mean, it's getting faster for sure, but it's only about half a second faster than what Matt Murdock is pulling right now. So Matt has certainly been saving up his tires for this point here. This looks like it's going to be quite the easy defense here for the driver in the BMW. Speed Demon Steve still not giving up yet. He's already made up 1 whole second here. Matt Murdock just needs to maintain the pace, needs to maintain the position, and just hope to God that his tires don't give out at the last second. And Tahir is comfortably ahead of Jensen here by 8.5 seconds, so it looks like third place might just be in the bag for Muhammad Tahir. Jensen Chu is still going to have to try a bit harder, but I don't think he'll be able to upgrade his position much. He just needs to keep ahead of Drifter Injured for now, and Flakes, having served that penalty, is so far behind that his only competition is literally Haji Kakap, who unfortunately had a lot more eventful race, certainly. Speed Demon Steve now still about 4 seconds behind Matt Murdock now, as we're going to be seeing them start that final lap now. In fact, Matt Murdock is already rounded around the final turn here. Let's see what the lap times are looking like for him. A 1:34.3, so he certainly stepped off the pace a little bit, seeing that Steve is not able to make many gains, but Steve is still making gains. That's the thing. So a 1:32.7, that's the fastest lap, I think, of the session so far. So he's already turning it up to 11, the final gear on the final lap. Can he make up the gap? 3.2 seconds now. Matt Murdock probably just watching his rearview mirror intently to see whether or not he sees the headlights of Speed Demon Steve. But man, I mean, with the gap being that huge, he has so much tools at his disposal right now for defense. But nevertheless, Steve is not really blazing the streets, as it were. Oh, Matt seems to be slow a little bit wide on this corner here. Steve is going to be going a bit wide and might have caught a cut track penalty here. But remember, you still have 3 chances even if you catch the first one. And Steve has already served penalties, so he's already got a reset. 2.7 seconds now. Matt Murdock rounding around towards the final few corners here. Final corner coming up now. Steve catching him with 2.5. Matt Murdock coming around this very, very tricky final part. A little bit too wide there, Matt Murdock. No, he has to go into the pits. He has to go into the pits. Speed Speed Demon Steve cruises through the final corner. Matt Murdock has to slow down for the pit speed limit, and Steve will take the win here in Mandalika International Circuit. Or does Matt Murdock take the win instead? Did they manage to get through in time? Because I'm looking at the timing monitor here, and it says that Matt Murdock is in first place. And Tahir will cruise in to get third place. Jensen just stays ahead of Drifter Injure to take fourth place. And by 1 minute 30 seconds behind is going to be Flix, and that should round up the results here with Haji Kakap in 7th place and Critical having retired from this race. It's going to be in 8th place. Well done and well done to all our members here of SANTAI Malaysia. This has been certainly an epic race, and apologies for not keeping track too well on the penalties as they're being applied here. I mean, it's a bit messy to kind of follow that along, especially inside the chat, but nevertheless, you know, great racing here from Steve, from Murdoch, from Jensen, and Drifter Injured. Very well done here on this edition of the SANTAI Malaysia sessions. So, my name has been Victor Cax. I've been your commentator for this race here, and hopefully I'll be able to see you for more in the future. Until then, catch us live here at SANTAI Malaysia over on Eka.W's YouTube channel. You can also join us on Discord. That's going to be the main meeting place for all of our members here, and it's also going to be a source for you to be able to get some of the best mods in the business here when it comes to Assetto Corsa, and to also join in these high octane action that happens on our race servers. So until then, my name is Victor Cax, and signing off here, over and out.
Johor lah. Akhil.
Yo, yo.
Masuk Johor lah, Johor.
Johor.
Hmm.
Mereka lah.
Mereka boleh.
Oh.
Okay. It's okay.
Masih lagi nih. Yung video driver semua update lang. So this is